What the?
I'm so sorry.
But I think I'll just have one. No, later, before I go off duty. Hello, staff.
Sorry I'm late, sister.
It's almost 2:10. Have you started the medicines?
Just about to, sister.
Patients on 4-hourly drugs should have them 4-hourly, staff.
Yes, sister.
Now look what you... Wasn't my fault, she just dropped them. Clumsy girl.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. Thank you, sister.
I'm not taking them, they've been on the floor.
But they must know something by now.
I've been in here almost a week.
Well, I've told you, sister. We'll see you when she gets back from her break.
I can't stay.
He's got to get back to work.
I only nipped out for half an hour.
He was that worried about me. I told her he'd go mad.
Well, I'm sorry. Perhaps you can see sister later tonight, then.
Tonight?
Yes, about 5, I should
I
think.
can't come tonight.
Well, that's not really my problem, is it?
Well, he was only telling you.
I just want to know what's the matter with my wife.
The original diagnosis suggests...
Yes, but have they found out anything since?
They're still making tests, Mr. Fitch.
Yes, and more tests and more tests.
You must know something by now, surely.
No, Mr. Fitch.
Now, look
And I've
here.
got far too much to do to stand here repeating myself over and over again.
Oh, what a rude girl.
Where are you taking that?
Mrs. O'Connor's staff. Her daughter sent it in.
Well, she can't have it. She's a diabetic. You must always check with senior staff before you give patients anything like that.
I did check, staff. It is diabetic orange.
You wanted to see me, sister?
Yes, staff. Come in. Close the door. Sit down. Well now, staff. I'm worried about you and I've got to talk to you. I'm not going to beat about the bush. I've worked with you now for almost 6 months. I've been very impressed with you and your appraisals have been good. Recently, however, your work has deteriorated and I have a feeling you've some kind of problem.
No.
I realize it may well be personal, but it is affecting my ward and my patients, and so I have to ask you to be completely frank with me.
We've just had a tough time lately. Some very difficult people.
I know we all suffer from strain now and then, but it's more than that, isn't it? I mean, yesterday when I came on duty, I could tell straight away things weren't as they should be.
Did anybody complain?
No, but there was an underlying feeling that certain things hadn't been done. A feeling I got from both the patients and the other members of staff.
Yes, well, I know that if anything goes the slightest bit wrong, you immediately look in my direction.
No one's victimizing you, staff. No one is getting at you. I'm trying to help.
Well, I'm grateful for your interest, sister. But there's nothing wrong.
In that case, I'm afraid I'm going to have to quote chapter and verse. You were extremely rude to Mr. Fitch this afternoon.
Mr. Fitch.
You told him you were too busy to talk to him.
I couldn't tell him anything, sister. I explained that, but they went on and on.
You could still have been more civil.
Well, I tried. Well, I'm sorry if I wasn't. People like that can be very difficult.
Difficult or not, I like patients' relatives to be talked to. In fact, I insist they must be given time.
Well, normally I do. I make an effort no matter how busy we are. I know it's important.
And then there's a ward clerk.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yesterday I had to speak to her about not completing all her work. She didn't exactly tell me so in so many words, but I understand you went to her office and kept her talking. You were extremely excitable.
That was her. She was telling me about her daughter's wedding.
Be that as it may, you were chatting to Mrs. Wilson when you should have been supervising Miss Petrie's retention enema. The second-year nurse did it, and you should have been observing her.
Yes, sister.
Is there anything you want to tell me, staff?
No, sister.
As I said, we're all subject to strain. We all find different ways of coping with it. Sometimes we don't cope. Instead of facing up to whatever the problem is, we seek false avenues of escape, tranquilizers, alcohol. Are you in the habit of drinking stuff? Oh, don't misunderstand me. I have nothing against alcohol either socially or, well, I enjoy a glass of sherry myself in the evenings after a hard day. I hear you've been going to the pub at lunchtime before you come on duty. Look, I'm not trying to put you in the wrong. I'm trying to help because you are a good nurse and I want to see you get on.
Thank you. Well, I didn't have much. Just a glass of wine.
No breakfast.
No.
Even one glass of wine on an empty stomach can wreak quite a lot of havoc, particularly in the middle of the day.
Made me feel better. For a bit. I didn't realize it showed.
Are you unhappy, Staff?
In my work? No, I'm fine.
But outside?
Well, there isn't any outside. I finish here and go back to my room, that's all. I thought it might be different when I got my badge. But it isn't.
Haven't you any friends?
Not really.
Tell me, how do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
How do you mean, sister?
What kind of nursing do you want to do?
Well, I don't really know. I've got my midder to do first, anyway.
You say that as if midwifery was some kind of penance.
I'm dreading it.
Why?
Well, for one thing, it's going back to being a student again, isn't it? I don't really fancy that idea. But basically, I just loathe the idea of a solid year at it. I didn't enjoy my spell on obstetrics. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize, Staff, or feel guilty. A nurse can't be expected to enjoy every branch of nursing. So that's what's been troubling you then?
The nearer it gets, the more depressed I get.
Then don't do it.
What?
Midwifery is desirable. It's essentially necessary now. Cancel your application and work towards something you really do want to do. What type of nursing do you relate to best?
Well, I like working here very much, medical. But what I did enjoy was working on the geriatric wards.
Geriatric? That is an unusual choice.
It's a question of feeling useful, needed.
And why not do a specialized course? They have 6 months or 1 year courses and your superannuated staff.
And could I?
Well, I'm a little bit vague about the details myself, but I would suggest you write to the Joint Board of Clinical Studies and find out what courses are available. Get the address from the School of Nursing. It's as simple as that.
I had no idea. Thank you, sister.
Listen, when you're a staff nurse, I bet you don't have time to be as sweet and considerate as you'd like.
We're supposed to be part of the team.
Look, she objected to what you did, and you objected to what she did. And I think you're both crackers. Don't think you're too bright either.
Thanks.
You know she's not going to take her midder.
You mean not yet?
Not ever.
Oh, Jo, don't be so dramatic.
Not do midwifery?
Well, apparently we don't actually have to.
Not at all, not even part one.
Honestly, CD, you'd think she'd just said she was going to be a stripper or something.
Well, the thing is that we all take it for granted that we do a few months or a year's staffing after we've got our badges, and that then we've got to do midwifery, as though it was written on tablets of stone or something. Well, it isn't.
Well, I'm going to.
Most of us are. Brent isn't. What I'm baffled about is why you should have this burning yen to work on geriatrics.
Have you worked on Sister Blaine's ward yet?
No. What's so special about her?
Well, she's got the whole place filled with rocking chairs. She doesn't put the patients to bed at night. They get in their pyjamas and sit there in the rocking chairs.
Cosy.
It is.
How did she manage that?
Well, she works with a consultant and they manage to get these things for the old people. And she doesn't give them a hot drink at night. She gives them bread and milk. Well, the bread absorbs the milk and stops them being so incontinent.
Sounds fine. Still don't see why you're so keen.
Well, you really get to know your patients. I mean, they're usually there for a long time. And I like old people.
Well, I'm going to do my midwifery, both parts. I need it when I go back home.
All right, then, you stick with your babies, Brent can stick with her old people, and I'll find myself a sexy millionaire, OK?
Oh, Joe.